Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Suchismita, welcoming you all to yet another episode of Mathematics of Diseases with our co host and dear friend, Mr. Jana Reddy. Hi, Jana.
Hi, Dr. Suchi. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Things are good. How about you?
Going well. So, our topic for today is hypertension. What is hypertension? Everybody talks about it. So, high blood pressure or hypertension is a common condition in which the long term force of the blood against your artery walls is high enough that it may eventually cause health problems such as a heart disease. Your blood pressure is the highest when your heart beats, that is, it's pumping the blood. This is called the systolic pressure. And when your heart is at rest, that is between the beats, your blood pressure falls, and that's called the diastolic pressure. So, let's just say you get a reading, and for example, your blood pressure comes out to be 120 over 80. So, what is it? Here, your systolic is 120 and your diastolic is 80. Blood pressure has been categorized into the following according to the new guidelines. The normal is anything less than 120 over 80. Elevated is systolic between 120 to 129, and diastolic is less than 80. Stage 1, systolic is between 130 to 139, and diastolic between 80 to 89. Stage 2, here the systolic is at least 140 or diastolic at least 90. And we hear something of a hypertensive crisis. This is when your systolic goes over 180 and diastolic goes over 120. And here, patients require immediate hospitalization, if there are signs of organ damage. So let's run through some quick stats. It said an estimated 1.2 billion adults aged between 30 to 79 worldwide have hypertension. And most of them, let's just say two-thirds, live in low and middle income countries. An estimated 46% of adults with hypertension are unaware of the condition. Less than a half, let's say 42% with hypertension, are currently diagnosed and being treated. Approximately one in every five adults who have been diagnosed, let's just say they're 21% of the crowd of the diagnosed, they have it under control. Interestingly, hypertension is a major cause of premature death worldwide. So, what is the pathophysiology? Hypertension has been classified into two categories: primary or the essential hypertension, and your secondary hypertension. Primary hypertension or essential hypertension is where you generally develop it over many years, and secondary hypertension is where there is an underlying condition that leads to increase in blood pressure. There could be various conditions and medications leading to it, such as obstructive sleep apnea, kidney disease, adrenal gland tumors, thyroid disorders, certain prescription drugs, and sometimes birth control pills, decongestants, certain defects like congenital defects in blood vessels, and of course, illegal drugs like cocaine and amphetamines. Now that we've heard so much on on the physics of the disease, let's just hear some more on the metaphysical aspect of it from Jana.
So, more than the metaphysical aspect, and I would like to talk about the mathematics of how hypertension gets created. One of the very important factors that you would see, are you feeling pressured? This is one of the things that you need to check with you with your body. Do you feel pressurized? And then, is there any sort of a ancestry trauma that you're carrying about? How your parents or your grandparents have lived as such. That's one of them. And then if there is a task and there's a goal, are you feeling, the need to run through fast, or need to, perform, or need to validate, to something about it. And in case there is a grief or a rejection or abandonment trauma also, like, grief not necessary about a death. It's about your own internal emotion that comes into it as such. And most importantly is about failure. How are you able to take the failure? It's not, life is not about, success all the while. There are good moments, bad moments, ugly moments. There are different moments that you keep coming out as such. How are you able to process the failure? And then the need to run through everything quickly. Like we have a task list, like we want to finish it off much quicker. Then the body responds in a certain way. See, we know we want to do it, we want to do it. This is one of the reasons why you could be having a condition wherein you're pumping so much pressure onto the heart to function, and then you're working on that. Another aspect is there a danger? Sometimes your body may feel sense sort of a danger not necessary in a situation. It can be that what you feel threatened, what you feel challenged about, even a normal corporate work, we feel we are always in danger because somebody is trying to sabotage us, somebody is trying to throw us out, somebody is trying to run a conspiracy behind us, somebody is trying to overrun us, outpit us, they're doing a backstabbing activity. So there is a lot of underlying condition that come with respect to danger is concerned as such. And other than that, there are sometimes when you feel that you are not able to express, when you feel you're not able to express, a lot of us hold that emotions deep inside of our throat, we don't want to share. Sharing means it comes about you are in the state of vulnerability. People may feel that you are weak, and we don't want to show that our weakness about it. We don't want to break down, so we want to show the stronger. For that to happen, you are able to process it. You need to be pressurized. When you feel pressurized, you are increasing the pressure on the heart, and the blood pressure is increasing on its own. So these are some of the reasons that you'll have challenges coming into it as such. And also it could be with related to the birth. Okay, maybe birthing traumas are also very important factor in getting this out. Is your mother going through certain amount of challenges? Was she under pressure? Was she under going through certain trauma? So when you have an urge to get out of the womb, and then you feel that okay, there's need for me to constantly be in that the right. I've seen a lot of clients who keep always on, okay, I have to perform, I have to perform, I need to finish it off, I need to complete this task, I need to feel pressurized, I need to be pushed. They keep coming and asking, I need to be pushed to do certain activities because they want the blood pressure to go up. These are some of the things where you would be having a certain amount of the reasons behind the blood pressure. So apart from the thing that Suchi talked about, these are some of the probable reasons that you could be going through this kind of an emotional situation. So it could be one of the areas that you should be focusing on, looking at what aspect of your life, what aspect of your the timeline that you've gone through is pressurizing it as such. I think that would be one good way to understand. Like I said, it's all about talking to your body. When we talk about mathematics of diseases, we're not talking about just about how the disease is formed and what happens to the body. It's more to do with that innate ability. Is a body ready to speak to you, and what is the language of speech, and what is it like to express? So the whole concept about mathematics of disease is to understand that formula, which is very critical for your being, that you could work through as such. So run through this, and you'll be able to find your own answers. Over to you, Dr. Suchi.
Very interesting. So some of the risk factors for high blood pressure include modifiable risk factors and non-modifiable. So in modifiable, we have unhealthy diets where we consume excessive salt, or a high diet in saturated fats, trans fats, low intake of fruits and vegetables, and lack of physical activity, consumption of tobacco, alcohol, and of course, being overweight or obese. And some of the non-modifiable risk factors include a family history of hypertension, your age above 65, and then a coexisting disease such as diabetes or a kidney disease. Sometimes even pregnancy contributes to a high blood pressure. So, what are the complications that a high blood pressure can result in? It could lead to a heart attack or a stroke, an aneurysm, heart failure, narrowing of your arteries or vessels in your kidney, and vision, loss of vision, and then metabolic syndrome, sometimes trouble with memory or understanding, dementia. So, what are the symptoms people usually with hypertension have? They could wake up with early morning headaches, they could be nosebleeds, irregular heart rhythms, vision changes, blurring, dizziness, buzzing in the ear. Sometimes it can cause fatigue, nausea, vomiting, confusion, anxiety, chest pain, muscle tremors. The only way to detect hypertension is to have a health professional measure your blood pressure. So, what is the current treatment? Let's just say, before we jump onto the medications, let's just try something else, that is modifying your lifestyle. Certain lifestyle changes like eating a healthy diet with less salt, getting a regular physical activity, maintaining a healthy body weight, and then limiting the amount of consumption of alcohol. And if still things don't work out and your blood pressure continues to remain high, we prescribe medications. Let's just learn some of the alternate therapies from Jana.
So one of the important parameters about to maintain or to understand and or manage your hypertension would be to look at breathing. One of the very prominent techniques that you could work on is mindfulness breathing, because what happens is when you're under stress, your breathing pattern changes. So you need to modify that condition, because you have the power within you to modify. If something you feel is a pressure, slowly get into certain breathing practices, to mindful breathing when we talk about it, and with counting. So when you start counting it out, you bring awareness to your lungs and also the heart. And secondary activity could be to look at how you could start doing some sort of a meditations. People say, no, we can't meditate, we are finding it difficult to meditate, so we can't focus on it. But somewhere you need to make a beginning. So it could be about 5 to 10 minutes of meditation could help you to understand what are the thoughts which are bothering you. Because when you meditate, you'll be able to bring in those core elements. Like when I spoke initially, your body knows the mathematics of what is causing you discomfort. In this case, it will show up images. When you're meditating, it will show up images. What aspect of your life is causing you that kind of a condition? So being aware of it, that's one activity. Being aware of it, being able to work on it, to be in awareness, and then start journaling. Okay, this is the particular image that I'm getting. This is a particular feeling that I'm getting. This is a kind of emotion, and my body twitches, or there's a pain that coming in as such. So start making notes about it. These are something or even slowly getting into the walking meditation, because when I talk about it, not listening to the music, not listening to anything, just being aware of your breathing and then understanding how your body is responding to it, because music cuts off the memories. Your body will not be able to respond it out. So when you're doing walking meditation, it has to be just you breathing and what is around you. It could be the sounds from the in the vehicles. It could be the garden that you're walking in, or what others are talking about. So they will be able to contribute to it, and then you're just mindfully, matching the steps. These are some of the important, parameters that you can work through. Of course, there are other different, therapeutic approaches which could be explored. And what I'm trying to share is something that is easily practiced, something that you could have it within you as such. Of course, there are quite a few modalities, quite a few therapy approaches to look at what is causing, what is the situation, to relive those moments and try to work on it and release it out. But I think that what I've shared is quite easy to do it, and you can do it any point of the day. So that would be a good beginning to understand your body better, understand the reasons behind your hypertension condition, and then work through it as such. Thank you.
Do you have a case study to share with us today?
I have every day, I have all the cases that I get is all related to some sort of a stress. That's why I was wondering, which kind of a case study that I should understand and try to give that. The easiest way to look at is, people do come with all kind of conditions. Sometimes they come for consults, not fully understand what is happening. What's the basic thing? I'm stressed. This is the first thing that they come out is stress. Okay, what are the stress factors? I ask them, is it related to work? Is it related to relationship? Is it related to the money or wealth issues? Is it related to your physical health that comes into it? So they say, I'm ticking all the boxes. The easiest way is to teach them, because they're coming first for the first time, to understand what is causing them. The other thing that they talk about is lack of sleep. One of the other things, byproduct of hypertension could be lack of sleep.
Yes.
So I teach them in a certain type of meditations. Either could be sound to relax the body. One of the things is the body scanning meditation. I tell them, can you do this? Okay, we have started. Okay, initially they say my thoughts are coming, it happens out. So over a period of time, maybe after 5, 10, 15 minutes, they're able to. I said, okay, now I feel a little better. So that's why in case of hypertension, I wouldn't have a single case, because majority of 90 to 95% of the cases they've come to us is mainly for some sort of a stress or some sort of an anxiety, panic attacks, nightmares. So these are very common things that keep coming out as such. So this is one of the, even if they're not on medication, even if they're not on medication, there are certain situations or events in their life which is causing this, short burst of, hypertension cases that comes in, because there could be something else. Initially, they may want to neglect it. Initially, they may say it's okay, but if they neglect it, later, as you have already clearly defined, what all conditions they can lead into, right from kidney to heart problems to so many things to stroke to there are 1,000 other problems that come out. So even though it very seems very simple, hypertension, it's a very common condition. Don't neglect about it, because be mindful about what the body is talking. So everybody can have a reflection or a tangent or a trajectory to take one organ along with it as a damage. So it's very
Absolutely.
important to understand what is going around in your body. Talk to your body, listen to your body, and say what does it want to say very clearly, express it out, and see how it comes out. That would be a good beginning to understand hypertension, body, the mind, and what happens within your physiology as such. Over to you, Dr. Suchi.
That was a beautiful message. I hope it got across and people start taking steps, mindful steps, control their stress, and then probably the manifestations of diseases would reduce and people lead a healthy and a better life. So, thank you for the discussion, Jana. Very interesting. Would you like to add your last thoughts on this?
Like, there's one word I would say, like when we have this episode, we call it as mathematics of diseases. And it's also sometimes also it implies that people manifest the diseases there, manifestation of diseases, and what we're talking about, demanifestation of those diseases, understanding the mathematics of your body and the disease, and that
Yeah.
your your aim and the game plan to work on it, because you have the power, you have the ability to heal your body, you have the ability to talk to your body. We cannot have a device to talk to your body. They can only give you readings, but you have the, so start listening to your heart, start listening to your breathing, start listening to your thoughts and emotions. You have the answer there. This is my closing line for today, and we'll come back with some more episodes, some more interesting insights, giving you different um, fodder for thinking. I would say, I would want to say that think about it and say, add up your own thing, grasp what we are trying to tell you, comprehend your own answers or own formula, and then go ahead as such.
Because at the end of the day, each one is an innate healer, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because you have the ability. Your body has the ability
Everyone,
to do everything. So,
everyone's an innate healer. You know your body the best.
yes.
Okay, so with these thoughts, we sign off for today. Thank you, everyone. See you all in the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Take care. So, let us say goodbye to hypertension. So, and now we'll see something else coming up in the future days. Thank you. Bye bye.